Please welcome the Michigan Hockey Pep Band for the playing of the Star-Spangled Banner.
Almost ready to play some hockey now for the Buffalo Wild Wing line charts. Ben Clymer beginning with Minnesota.
Well, with Minnesota, it starts with their senior. Travis Boyd played so well. Also have to keep an eye on Mike Riley, so dynamic. He'll be dancing up and down the ice tonight.
Robbie Andringa. How about the Michigan Wolverines, what they have assembled?
Well, I think they got to play physical, so what comes to mind when I talk that is Michael Downey, number 5, big hitter that he is, but also Andrew Kopp. He's got to be physical down low, play hard in the offensive zone, and be stellar in his own end.
Don Lucia, he felt his team played a little tentative, not really their game. They got a little tight, slow, and gave up space, so still not completely satisfied despite shutting out Ohio State 3-0 yesterday. And the legend keeps living on, 75 years young, Rhett Berenson, 31st season. Pressure is on for the Wolverines. If they want to keep playing after tonight, they have to win. 2 shutouts in his last 3 games. The much maligned goaltender, now they're celebrating his brilliance. It was a gorgeous performance last night, his best one of the season for the junior who hopes one day to wear a Tampa Bay Lightning jersey. Steve Racine, he has certainly settled down, taking over the net, and his record at the Joe continues to sparkle. 4-0 this year, 5-1 lifetime at Joe Louis Arena for the junior Steve Racine. Steve McKinchuk, Barry Pakmara, Joe Hutek, Bruce Vita. The officiating has been solid all tournament. We look for the journey to continue. And off we go, championship game, maize and blue, Michigan, the maroon and gold of Minnesota. Michigan, some early first touches. Mike Downing off the stick of Kopp, so there's no icing. Hudson Fasching lets it trickle into Michigan territory. Downing on the retrieval. Brennan Serval coming off of a good performance yesterday will wind it up and out, no icing. Fasching fights through the traffic. Dumps it in as Boyd was searching for it. Bischoff back and he'll dump it in.
Minnesota lucky to not get a penalty there. Too many men on the ice. Very tight squeeze. The officials in the correct spot to call that one, but they need to beware. Got to have better communication.
Lohan, there's Ambrose. The senior hit from behind. Whistle stays silent. Sam Warney had a clutch goal. Brady Shea floats it. Racine first save and the rebound. Just put wide. Early pressure from Minnesota. Michigan now goes and looks for their first shot at goal, and it comes from Dylan Larkin. A bullet from 40 feet out. Adam Wilcox to stop.
Well, Rob touched on the fact in the open this was going to be a physical affair. He highlighted Downey, number 5, very well known for his physical attributes, but the freshman stepping up his game right there.
And I think it's important, Ben, that goaltenders have to see rubber early. Both goalers in tight right away. That was Racine. We just saw Will Cox with a good tight save as well. You got to get pucks early as you're a goaltender. Make the field, get you involved in that game.
Well, last night, Steve Racine able to see that puck, a very clear field of vision in front of him. Tonight, going to be a different affair. You saw Seth Ambrose right there. Expect that to continue.
Quick shot, Camerata, Racine. Trying to look for scraps. Pops loose. Brodzinski feathers down low to Kluse. Twisting and turning, Taylor Camerata. He's tied up by Cutler Martin, Booney Evis. Not out of the zone yet. Cutler Martin will reverse. Awaiting there is Mott, and he just missed it. Finally, it's Booney Evis kicking it out to center. Mott a little hit from behind, or rather Dexter Danks.
That was a good check, but again, close to being called. Checking from behind.
You certainly don't want to give the number 1 power play in the country an opportunity early in the game. Ohio State did that a night ago, and they were able to sneak out of that affair unscathed in the first period.
Isaacson. Glover misses it, but Mike Riley keeps the attack fresh. Riley by his lonesome on the point. To Isaacson, shoots it wide. Glover. Looks like a Minnesota power play here. But it's blocked by Michigan. And Calderon, the chip out. Max Short after it. But the speed of Riley containing any attack. 14 combined national championships, 25 combined NHL draft choices. Big Ten not looking too bad here in the championship game as JT Confer so strong on the puck. He and Kyle down low. Try to spin it in front. Leon Burstett from Minnesota.
Brady Shea needs to be careful there. We talked about Michigan not crossing that penalty line right there, getting a little bit frivolous with his stick action.
Shea pinches in and he flattens Kyle. Play on. And there's JT Confer. You knew you might see a little retaliation. Confer sticking up, and then he draws the penalty on Brady Shea, who started this whole skirmish.
Well, let's take a look at the big hits. Again, energy is abundant. Brady Shea not liking that call, but he had the big hit in the neutral zone. Again, read it perfectly, jumped on it, took away. Kyle
just explodes through that one, but then he tries to go back and double dip using that physical strength that he has and just overpowers JT Confer on that one's gonna sit for that extra effort.
First power play of the game, Michigan was 1 for 4 against Michigan State yesterday. Booney Evis, the entry, but a lot of sticks from the Gophers there reaching, and they jab it loose and clear.
It'll be interesting to see how both power plays work, because these are really mirror teams of each other with how they kill, the pressure that they can put on, even on a penalty kill.
And talking to Mike Gensel this morning, wasn't necessarily thrilled with their penalty killing effort. They didn't have too many scoring opportunities, not necessarily pressuring as hard as a 4-man unit as they would have liked.
Okay, warning, shorthanded. Just lost a little step, or he might have had a better chance there cutting down the left side. Coach Lucia said he wants Sam Warning to stop the circling. He needs to use his speed. He pulled him aside before the tournament and said, we really need you to keep this season going. Just over a minute to go on the advantage for Michigan. Wedged in by Mott. Tricky one to deal with for Wilcox. Boyd, he had a chance to clear it, doesn't get it out. Tipped by Mott. Kyle looking for options. Wrist shot. Wilcox the stick stop. Confer, 45 to go in the power play. Brodzinski blocked. Failing to clear. Downing faking. JT Confer, little saucer pass. Mott! Oh, just gets knocked off the puck in front Game-saving play there by Ben Marshall. And he's lucky he didn't get a penalty there, taking down Mott.
Well, Michigan identifying that there's a 2-on-1 opportunity in front of the net, and D is isolated, has to go up and back. The Gopher defensemen need to communicate a little bit better.
Confer, 8 seconds to go, and the advantage for Michigan. JT Confer, Cutler, Martin patted aside by Wilcox. Now the march begins for Minnesota. Hudson Fashing, Brady Shea is on the box. Fashing cuts. Shea was looking for it. Travis Lynch up the boards, held in by Christian Isaacson. Jake Bischoff, wrist shot well wide of the target, and Max Stewart will flick it away. Cutler Martin. From his own side of center, Wilcox will leave for Collins. Carefully up the glass. Zach Wierenski, 9 goals on the season, wearing number 13 back on the Michigan blue line. Isaacson, a few dicey moments, but makes the smart clearance.
Keep your head up, head up!
They keep their head up, they respond. Wilcox sets it up for Shea. Larkin, Hyman, and Selman roaming the ice for Michigan. This is Justin Clues, the wrist shot off balance. Racine, a nice recovery with the right pad save. Took a deflection, they wave off an icing. Hyman shows the strength, but Brady Shea, the big sturdy lad himself. The outlet pass for Minnesota. Dylan Larkin will send it in.
And this is the matchup that they would like. Brady Shea against the likes of Larkin, Zach Hyman, and Justin Selman. We'll have to see if Michigan fights to get away from that matchup.
Camerata, little space. Had a stick hacked from behind by Booney Evis when he went to shoot it. Jarring it loose, look at Mott. Steaming down the far wall. Mott swings it in front, but everyone was contained by Minnesota. You knew you'd see a good clip to this game.
Well, that was just a good battle by Ben Marshall on Dexter Danks. Danks got to come extra pounds and some size on him, but Benny Marshall, perfect position to make sure he couldn't get a stick on that puck.
Hopping onto the puck, Sam Warning, Boyd erratically over the line. Now Boyd settles, fires, and Racine out of the lip of the crease to meet that shot. Nieves turns it over, ripped right back in by Seth Ambrose. Warning, shot from the point. No rebound allowed by Steve Racine. Just a few handbags in front. Not a serious dust-up. Just over 11 minutes to go in the first period, no score. There's Red Berenson as a Red Wing. Got to play 1 year with Gordie Howe, and he said, as a freshman with Michigan in 1958, a 17-year-old, when he was recruited, one of the big draws to come to Michigan for him was he could only be an hour away from his hero, Gordie Howe, who used to call the old Olympia home. Ben, what do you think about the start so far?
So far, you got to like the pace of this. Both coaches wanted a north-south game, one that didn't have a lot of lateral movement. So far, the majority of the game has been played that way, speed up and down the walls.
Robbie, do you think we're going to see a high-scoring game?
Well, the pace we're going right now, both goalies look like they're focused and ready. I would assume that it's going to be a funny bounce to get them going, and then it's anybody's guess.
Finally, pleased to introduce the fourth member of our team. Down by the benches, Fred Pledge.
Well, thanks, guys. You know, 2 years ago, March 24th, Michigan was in this same situation. It was the final game of the CCHA. They played Notre Dame. Steve Racine was in goal. He suffered his only postseason loss that day, 3-1. They were playing at Notre Dame, and the kid who assisted on the winning goal, 29 seconds into the third period, Mario Lucia, Don Lucia, was here as a hockey dad.
Now here is the coach trying to prolong his season with his historic Minnesota Golden Gopher program. His other son Tony used to play for this team just a few short years ago. As Justin Selman, Zach Hyman in across the line, inches his way in. Punched out with the blocker by Wilcox.
That's a great punch out by Wilcox, as he had a lot of Wolverines in front of him. Get that puck away from him, push it out. That way you got 3 forwards caught for Michigan.
Ben, is the old Adam Wilcox back?
Well, certainly the way he played a night ago, you would have to think so. And so far, been tested and certainly well represented.
We talk about Wilcox a lot. Again, he was the best goaltender last year. Kind of went through some struggles this year, but yet what he's really good at, that's the one save I talked about, is just, I think, thinking the game. He saw those players, those Wolverine forwards coming at him. He knew what he had to do with that puck off of the blocker.
A little bit of higher learning, understand what a rebound would put his defenseman and how difficult that situation would be, pushing that out, like you said, and probably trying to create an odd man opportunity the other way with the Michigan attackers coming with so much speed.
Selman sends it in. And an icing with just over 10 minutes to go in this opening period.
If there's one thing I'm a little bit surprised of is what they're letting the players get away with. And again, we know the officials, they've been great all year long. A lot of cross checks in the back, checking from behind, and things that are right on that line of being close enough to be called a penalty.
It also really feeds into the desperate nature for both of these two teams, understanding their postseason implications to carry on their season into the NCAA tournament.
We saw the opener of the tournament, Ohio State and Penn State, no penalties at all. Steele, tanks, just bouncing wide of Wilcox's goal. Lohan, he held that puck for just a hair too long, and it's whistled. Take a quick break, halfway home here in the first period. No score between Michigan and Minnesota.
Brian, third game in 3 nights, but you have to like your energy level. You like your look so far?
Yeah, definitely. You know, we're into the game. We knew it. They were going to have a great push and great speed. We see that on their forecheck. So coming out of D zone, we got to be a little more clean in our exits. But I like our energy so far through the first half.
Okay, thanks for doing this.
Thank you.
So looking for cleaner exits out of the zone for Michigan.
And that's a key, both teams, but especially Michigan, because again, I think that's one of the strengths. If I look at their entire lineup, their defense, if I had to go man for man on the blue line against Minnesota, I think they have a little bit of competitive advantage with that group, but yet you create turnovers in your own zone, that's a struggle.
It certainly feeds into the hands of number 5, Mike Riley. Those turnovers, he's going to head the other direction quite quickly, with them making not it a 3-on-2, but possibly a 4-on-2 with his skating ability.
Penalty. Is that why Werenski went down clumsily?
Yeah, going to get a boarding call, and I think it's going to go on Bunieves. Let's take a peek at it again. Put Minnesota on the power play, and read and react. I think that might be a gift too. For 2 minutes for boarding, he really lays Letary out. But again, I think that's what they have to. If you're Michigan, you want to play physical against those smaller forwards. Make sure you're going to be let them know that you're going to be there all night long.
So power play, Minnesota, their first one of the game. JT Confer and Kopp will carry out as Don Lucia says he wants his power play to be more assertive and looking for better possession.
And a night ago, they had such a difficult time with the aggressive nature of Ohio State. We'll see if they can calm this puck down and move it around the outside where they've had so much success with that highly skilled offense.
This is Camerata. 30 seconds into the power play. Rao looking for a hole. Racine denies him, and it's lifted out of play.
Again, I like that read by Kyle Rao. He didn't feel any pressure, so what do? You go right to the net, try to sneak one by. He's really good around the net, Ben. You've seen him lots. Again, that's the one area that I really like about his game. He is not afraid to get to that dirty area where the big boys play.
Well, it certainly provides an opportunity for that fellow right there. Kyle Rao brings that puck to the net. You know he's going to take a hit. Big Hudson Fasching might be the player to cash in on the back door if he can shake his check.
Minute 20 left in the power play. Camerata winds up for the slap shot. picking up the pieces. Kyle Rao, who had a quiet evening last night. This is Rao's time. Big game, big moment. Perched to the side of the goal, looking for any rebound. Minute to go in the power play. Rao, good stick lift on Lohan. Cutler Martin, though, right up the middle.
Give Lohan credit, he stuck with it. Instead of trying to get control, all he did was push it by the Minnesota forward. Sometimes that's all you gotta do, just quick decisions.
45 seconds to go in the advantage. Leon Burstett latching on to the pass. In for a look-see, Sam Warning. Warning and Boyd dueling with two Wolverines. Leon Burstett, 25 seconds left in the power play. Riley faking, Riley lets it rip. Racine grabs it.
Good puck movement, good body movement. Again, watching Seth Ambrose in front. He's taking the eyes away from Steve Racine. But again, we got number 5 out there, sees the ice so well on Mike Riley. But you got to get that puck moving around, move your feet, try to develop maybe a passing or shooting lane. They do it exceptionally well.
And Don Lucia doubling up Mike Riley, staying out for a minute 40 to start and almost end that power play. The other 4 players making a change.
Why not, right? Best offensive defenseman in the league. You want him out there.
Good job by Sam Warning from the faceoff. 15 seconds to go in his power play. Ambrose. Marshall, the one-timer tipped. Racine the save. Hits him in the head. Didn't know where the rebound was. A Wolverine break. So 5 power play shots there for Minnesota. Power play expires and they're still buzzing the goal.
What an opportunity for the Gophers and an awkward situation for Steve Racine right there. Doesn't know where this puck is, but maintains his composure. Watch how still he is. Maintain that position. Wait for that puck to arrive again in your field of vision.
And in tight, what you're worried about is will that puck maybe hit him in the head or the back and then trickle down? But I agree with you. Just stay there. Maybe even go down, try to take away both sides of that pipe area with your legs and your pillows. Be quiet.
Andrew Sinelli looking for the exit. Aggressive forecheck, Minnesota. A.J. Michelson rummaging along the boards. Finally pops loose, and it's Ben Marshall. Keeping Calderon away from the goal. Good thing Isaacson picked up his head and saw that freight train potentially coming. It's Max Stewart. Fights his way into Minnesota ice. They maneuver it by the forecheck. Isaacson bumped into the glass by Stewart. Under 7 minutes to go here in the opening period. Calderon the dump, and now the line change. Bashing the tip. There's Rao engaging the defender before he has the chance to do so. Kyle Rao walks, fires, and so far Steve Racine looking pretty confident.
Again, he has been great. A lot of it is because he plays on the edge of his crease, and I like that. Be aggressive. But yet, they've had 16 shots on goal, has Minnesota. Again, big bodies flying around, you're hitting. Kyle Rao, again, always playing. That's where I think he's really good from that corner in out. But again, getting bodies in front of Steve Racine is gonna be the key. But already 16 saves for Racine. He's gotta feel good about himself right now, getting in a little bit of a rhythm.
Offside. The play slows a little bit here in the latter stages of this opening period, and Steve Racine, so far so good.
Yeah, again, it's just simple stuff. Make sure you make the simple saves, then force your defenders to do their job, which is clean up the sticks in a positional play. But again, I think where he's really good, he's out on that blue crease area, and he feels real confident in his mobility.
Well, at 6'3", use your size to your advantage. Go down, be square, and when you can get out against the crease area, you're going to look like an awfully big target. Not a lot of net to shoot at with his size.
Shea pass, takes a bad carom off the leg there of Boyd, and then the end result is another offside. Seth Ambrose and the seniors, they've enjoyed so much success during their stay, and it would be such a shame for it to end.
Seth Ambrose, one of those players that really predicates his scoring out of being right in front of the net, making the goalie's job difficult, then preying on those rebounds. He and Hudson Fasching will be the two players I will watch to make Steve Racine's night a little bit more difficult.
Mott and Camerata, a few slashes, so they have to switch sides off the face-off. Camerata, Vinny Lettieri, the two little crafty ones. Plus the drive, Racine the save, then he prevents the centering attempt. Minnesota showing some hunger along the boards, especially in the offensive zone. It seems being a little more assertive.
Oh, they just have to jump right now. That's the one thing I've been really impressed with is they're a little bit smaller, so you maybe think, well, they're not going to win those battles. Well, they're winning battles not only because of their grittiness, but their speed.
Plus by Cutler Martin. Plus the high shot, and the glove hand is looking a lot better for Steve Racine tonight.
Well, then tight. You want to get the goaltender to go down, maybe go upstairs, and that's what Clues does. And he fakes, looks off the player once, maybe get that defenseman to slide over as well, maybe get Racine out of position, but not the case that time. Racine doing his job.
Well, Justin Clues testing that glove hand just as Kyle did a time before, and Racine almost waiting for that shot. They might want to think about maybe trying to move something to the far side, get those feet going, see where those rebounds spray off those pads, and then try to react.
Ben, Mike Downing. You played in the National Hockey League and won a Stanley Cup with the Tampa Bay Lightning. What do you think the chances are of Mike Downing playing in the NHL?
Mike Downing's going to have an excellent NHL career, no question.
Riley fights off Calderon. Some say he might be ready to play in the big show next week.
Well, I certainly think if Michigan's season is to end earlier than we would like, obviously, yep, he could certainly step into the Florida Panthers lineup.
Under 5 to go in this first period, still searching for the first goal on this Saturday night. History rolling on this year behind the benches of Michigan and Minnesota. Fourth coach in Division I history with his 800th career win. Not bad for a second career. And Don Lucia ties Doug Woog all-time wins at Minnesota with win number 390, and he had to do it with his backup goaltender, Nick Lair, on that special evening.
Well, there's just so much good to talk about with these two guys right here. I mean, Frozen Four is championships and also making young men better as not only hockey players, but just young men.
I think it's worth also noting Red Berenson has won an NHL Coach of the Year as well. Many people know about his NHL coaching pedigree to go along with his college coaching, obviously his NHL career.
Helped propel the St. Louis Blues and your former buddy Mike Liute to one of their most illustrious regular seasons in history. Is under 5 minutes to go here in the first period. Serval searching for it. Confer taken down by Kyle Rao. And that hurt JT Confer a little slow to get up, but he skates off the paying. Tapped to center by Kyle, and you can see Confer A-OK, the wrist shot. He showcased a tremendous shooting ability last night, JT Confer, but there his shot is nullified as Fred Pletch is between the benches. We've got a lot of fun so far here on this Saturday night. And be sure to stay tuned at Intermission for the Auto Owners Insurance Intermission Report. Ricky P, Paul Caponegri. We're going to break down the first period of play. You know those guys are going to have some fun back in the Chicago studios.
After they get done eating all that pizza and drinking all that soda and stuff, right? Cookies, brownies.
Maybe a touch of caffeine. It's been a tremendous journey. Quarterfinals began Thursday, semis Friday. This is all about a championship now from the place nicknamed the Joe here in Detroit. Hyman couldn't finesse his way in front. Ripped in by Boyd. Warning, softly to Ambrose. Boyd the room. Collins the shot, changing directions off of Wolverine. A shot going wide, and you can see Racine. He just wants to whistle anytime he can get one.
been real good with his glove, and that's one area that I thought he was struggling with coming into this tournament, yet he makes it look easy tonight with that glove hand.
Certainly would be wise to test him in a few different areas, and right now the Gophers, well, they're coming with all their speed. 18 shots on goal, still 3 ticks left in this one. Michigan needs to be careful, start to transition that puck a little bit better, and maybe take a page out of either Michigan State or Ohio State's book, blocking a few more shots.
Great to have the insight from both Rob Andringa and Ben Clymer, Fred Kletch. I'm Dan Kelly. Thanks for watching the Big Ten hockey tournament. Late in the first period. It's been a quiet tournament for Justin Kloos. He's about due. We still haven't had a game in overtime yet.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
It's the final game. That's the way it should be settled. That's the way it was settled last year.
Like a 3 overtimer, is that what you're
No,
looking
we
for?
can go quick. Just an exciting goal.
Okay.
Martin shoos it to the boards. Bischoff, Riley. The puck was wobbling, so tough to get a clean strike. Look at Riley. The dancing shoes are on here. Out on the point. Centered. Off a couple sticks and wide. Penalty upcoming to Michigan. It's going to go against Cutler Martin.
Cutler Martin using his physical presence, getting tangled up with the slider Taylor Camerata, and we talked about the power play of Minnesota going to get another opportunity late in a period. How advantageous is that, Rob?
Yeah, you need it, but again, look at what Minnesota's doing while getting bodies to the net. That's 3 forwards right there. That play really started with Mike Riley doing his dancing, as you said, Danny. That's where I'm amazed at him. He is so good and tight, whether it's in the corner or on that blue line.
Ridiculous pond hockey-esque move out at the blue line, seemingly no hesitation in pulling such a dangerous move on your own blue line with no one behind you.
So the most dangerous power play. Back to operating here. Riley, high shot. It's blocked by Serval and clear.
Serval with quite a brave block right there, stepping out, taking that one off the sternum.
Hudson Fasching pushed down by Werenski. Moves away from the coverage. Boyd for Riley. Creeping in. Steered to the corner by Racine. 1:20 left in the power play. Good keep in by Minnesota. The pivot by Riley. Boyd, he thought about it. Riley blasts it. Just shaves the bar there off a stick. Leon Bristet, Mike Riley, one-timer. Boyd breaks the stick in half, and the errant pass will send Riley and Minnesota back for it.
The one thing I do like about Minnesota is they're not wasting any time. They're going around the side, but getting shots, those one-timers, hopefully loosening up that penalty kill.
Yeah, that's their first thought and instinct, is to get that shot on target.
Well, that rotation around the top is going to make 3 penalty killers activate at some point. They either won't be able to keep up with that rotation, or they'll start to have to collapse down due to fatigue.
What they're going to get used to is you're going to see a defender start to try to go down and block it. That's when you go right through that box with a pass, and boom, you got backdoor play.
You actually saw Travis Boyd almost balk on one of his shots, trying to open up that seam. Michigan maintained good position in that particular play, but you're right, a good opportunity there to get those players starting to think blocked, and then you can follow up with that pass.
Ambrose down to single digits, remaining in the power play for Minnesota. 40 seconds to go in the period. Marshall to Brodzinski. Wrist shot off a stick to the corner. 24 shots on goal in the first period yesterday for Michigan. Here still under 10. What a stark contrast from Friday to Saturday as Minnesota scrambling. 10 seconds to go in the period. Back to full strength. Hyman, last chance, cuts, fires wide as Michigan saves their best for last, and Zach Hyman almost a send-off there at the end of the first period.
Well, all Minnesota for the first period, but yet the last probably 5 seconds, Zach Hyman doing his thing, being aggressive, going to the house. Just loses control of that puck.
So the score, Nothing after 20 minutes. Let's get you over to the Auto Owners Insurance Intermission Report with Rick Pizzo and Paul Caponegri. Guys?
Do you know what the U of M does for you? From farms to breweries and orchards to markets, discover how the University of Minnesota is cultivating a new crop of Minnesota businesses.
Do you know what the U of M does for you? From hooves to hands and paws to possibilities, discover how the University of Minnesota is making medical advances for all Minnesotans.
They've come dressed for the occasion, the Wolverine fans here inside Joe Louis Arena, both young and old, is third-seeded Wolverines trying to take down the #1 seed Minnesota and win a Big Ten tournament title. And oftentimes you see this with college hockey players. They have high expectations, well-decorated resumes, but it takes a while for them to fully grasp things and play to their best. And we've seen that with Travis Boyd and Zach Hyman.
It took them the early parts of that first period, maybe get the nerves out, to want to open it up and realize that they can take a chance. They have that skill set. We saw that at the conclusion of that period, no doubt, with Zach Hyman.
Again, longer term, these are both guys that have had experiencing great years. And a lot of it is nobody's on the same timetable when you're going to pick this game up. Some guys do it early, some guys do it late. Dylan Larkin is a great example. He's a freshman, he gets it.
Ben, what's been the difference in Boyd's game from earlier in his career at the U?
Well, first off, people need to know that he came in a year early as a 17-year-old. So developing that strength is something that's going to come a little bit later, but also I think the inner confidence, the belief that not only do I belong, but I have the skill set to be an elite player, and I think he's really grown that skill set within his ears, or between his ears, to complement his physical skill set.
Selman, quieted down by Brady Shea. Swooping in is Dylan Larkin. Bischoff pries it loose, and another penalty. Zach Hyman will go off for 2 minutes. Correction, Justin Selman.
Yeah, he got a little too aggressive on this one. And that's going to be called every time. When you're around the boards and it's close enough where his head goes first into the boards, that's where you're going to see the penalty called then.
And a good call, no question about it. Physical nature, part of this game, but right there, the player in a very vulnerable position, a hit that is a very easy call for those officials when they see that player in harm's way.
Fresh sheet of ice for this potent power play. Not good news for Michigan. Ambrose, watched by Werenski, fishing for it and fishing it free. Lohan, but not out of trouble. Kluse's pass is intercepted by Travis Lynch, dumping it in. Lynch fights his way after it first. Lynch brings it in front, and he almost got a shot away. Lynch is dumped along the wall.
He's just one of those unsung heroes, a guy that doesn't get any play because of, again, the centers ahead of him, Nieves, Larkin, and Kopp, but he really manages the game well and is one of the most, I think, engaging penalty killers that I know of on this team.
If put in the role, he probably would have the skill set to produce some points. 70 seconds to go in the power play for Minnesota. Serval, the work along the wall, creates space, shorthanded, Confer. Can't finesse around Shea. Michigan fans becoming a little unruly watching that.
And worth noting, the Gophers went with their second power play to start that opportunity. Now the first power play is starting to get onto the ice.
Shea will lead for a first power play unit guy, Travis Boyd. Camerata drops for Rao. 35 seconds to go in the power plays. Things slow up a little bit. Rao right in front, one-timer, power play goal, Travis Boyd.
Travis Boyd on the back door. Looked like a real slow developing play, but again, you utilize everyone on the ice. And Travis Boyd, empty net goal on the power play. And that's where he seems to earn his money, on the back door.
Well, the big right-hander being patient right here, not covering himself, waiting for that puck to arrive. So often you see players get too close to the net, and Kyle Rao doing a nice job of getting that puck to the backside, and Travis Boyd catching that puck in a little bit of an awkward angle, but having the sense to make sure that he one-timed it, whatever, by all means necessary, get that puck going at the net. Speed wasn't a factor there, accuracy was the key.
The other thing I liked is Hudson Fasching, big body, taking up space. Lohan has to play him, so what's open? The backdoor play, and that's Boyd.
Well, the nature of a power play is identifying where a 2-on-1 is and then exploiting it, and also making sure your 5 players aren't outworked by those 4 players, and the Gophers doing a nice job down low there.
Robbie and Dringa watching Steve Racine there on that goal. I'm Minnesota. I might want to try to make Racine move laterally, and the penalties continue to pile up.
Right there, A.J. Michelson's going to get flagged for a play along the boards.
Tripping is going to get the call. Again, puts Michigan on the power play, again along the wall. This is where a lot of the battles in a hockey game are won, and games are won or lost. That looked to me stick on stick. It just happened that Mott fell over it. Those are always tough to take when you're battling, you're engaged, and all of a sudden a player just happens to step over your stick.
And a quick audible on that one. Vinny Lettieri going to sit down, a guest of Fred Pletch in between periods, and we'll see if Michigan can answer back on the power play.
Third-ranked power play in the Big Ten Conference, converting just under 25% of the time. They struck once yesterday against Michigan State. Ambrose breaks his stick in an offside in the meantime.
Not that this is a must power play for Michigan, but you definitely want to get some momentum. You look at the shots, again, 21-7, favoring Minnesota. You have to start generating kind of a counter punch.
And no question, we'll give some of their players an opportunity to maybe get in the game that we haven't necessarily seen. You talked about Zach Hyman, Dylan Larkin, been fairly quiet. Get the puck on his stick, get him a little bit of confidence here when he has time.
Well, one of the reasons why they haven't been as effective is they've had to play demanding styles in their own D zone because of the pressure by Minnesota in the offensive zone.
Boyd's 18th of the season has opened up the scoring. Rowan Camerata, the assist, a power play goal, but now we shift our focus to this Wolverine power play. Gaining the zone with speed. Nieves. Coach Berenson wants Nieves to start hitting the target more frequently, not those wayward high shots. Hyman. Missing that pass in front was Justin Selman. Minnesota foiled on their clearing attempt. Hyman deep shoots, scores! Answering on the power play.
Michigan answers with a brilliant play by their senior go-to guy. That's Zach Hyman. Basically outworked Shea along the wall in the corner, and once he realized that he had the puck in control in space, he immediately goes to the net and forces players to come to him, and his good stick skill and tight, that's what makes him so good, Ben.
3 players around him at different times of this play, but he fends off all of them and throws a little dangle to boot right there, and oh so close for Mr. Wilcox, but it was Zach Hyman's individual effort to shine right there.
He might have a tough time playing that power forward role in the NHL level, but he can certainly do it here at the college level.
What I've been really impressed with Zach Hyman, again, his ability to turn it on. Once he realizes he has real estate in front of him in that net, he goes hard to it and really forces defenders to make quick decisions, and he usually beats them.
Confidence is a dangerous weapon, and he's got plenty of it now with this Hobie-esque season. Kyle Rao, the dump in, not very deep. Downing up with it, JT Confer, Alex Kyle. As Rao just gets a little piece from there. Cobb and Confer operate along the boards. It's the captain, Andrew Cobb. Confer snapping it wide. Cutler Martin in for a look, and he slides that dangerously through the crease. Penalty upcoming. Looks like interference to JT Confer. Rather, it's going to be against Rao as Michigan keeps possession. And there's Rao, a little frustrated, taking the penalty and has the first touch.
Yeah, Kyle Rao's not going to like this call again. They've seen a lot of cross-check to the back that they've let go. That frustrates the player.
So the captain will sit. 2 power play goals already. That could be a dangerous thing.
Welcome back to the Joe on the Big Ten Network. Michigan, Minnesota knotted up at 1 apiece. A power play opportunity coming off an infraction right there. Kyle Rao gonna get frisky with JT Comfort in front of the net. He's gonna sit for that extracurricular effort. The captain not thrilled with that call.
The reason why I'm not thrilled with the call is I've seen about 5 or 6 of those throughout the entire game so far that they've let go, and now you're going to call. And the puck was nowhere near. That puck already sailed by and was going up the wall.
And I think one of the reasons on that call in particular, just previous, JT Comfort been roughed up by Hudson Fashion, been sent to the ice, and the ref saw him go down again.
How about the slash too? Maybe the slash plus the cross check in the back might get you the game.
2-minute cross check to Rao. The penalty kill starts out well for Minnesota.
Really a double whammy for the Gophers too. Not only do they go shorthanded, but they also lose one of their key penalty killers in Kyle Rao.
Hyman dances his way into the zone, but then he loses it to Ambrose.
One of the things you noticed was Mike Riley was out there with Bishop to start that face-off, and once they cleared it, they immediately went to the bench. You can see the lineup that they want. They want Shea and Collins against his top power play.
Hyman breezes over the line. Sends it in front, kicked away by Minnesota. Dylan Larkin, the always dangerous one. Zach Werenski straight away. Selman trying to slip loose. Werenski to Larkin. Wrist shot, blocked. Selman is hurt. He inadvertently took that shot, and he goes to the bench slowly, replaced. Kyle, the replacement. Stuck to the corner by Wilcox. Centered, backdoor, thing of beauty. Alex Kyle, power play goal.
Alex Kyle's going to get his 13th goal of the season, and why will people forget about him? Because he goes all the way behind the net, and nobody can account for him. They're too focused on the puck. As the play rotates, you're going to see Kyle start it. He pushes there, and then he keeps going around the net. People forget about him, Ben.
Well, very easy to overplay Zach Hyman for reasons that are quite obvious, and his puck hunger is staying with that puck, getting that puck to that player in the slot, but there was the hockey sense of Kyle re-emerging after he was behind the goal crease.
Might want to avoid the penalties. 3 power play goals all of a sudden. Here still early, approaching the midway point of the second period here in the championship game from Joe Louis Arena in Detroit. It's the Wolverines and the Gophers from Minnesota.
What a change of events for the Gophers. Really came out with the steam and the momentum in the first period. All things go in the Maize and Blues direction so far in this one.
Glover, the interception for Minnesota, but reclaimed quickly by Lynch as he shoots it in. Slow breakout, fighting through the check of Alex Kyle. It's Christian Isaacson. Long shot directed off the blocker by Racine. Confer, here's Kopp, the board work. Marshall, the Detroit Red Wing draft choice, moves it ahead for Minnesota. Mike Riley, a little Larry Murphy clearance there up in the rafters. Kyle Rao latches onto the end of it. Hudson Fashy looking for it. Fashy to Bischoff. Down to Rao into the penalty box. And Minnesota returning to full strength here with 12:20 to go in the period. Loose puck. Justin Selman stops and fires. And Wilcox contains it. Leon Verstett will brush to center, bouncing into Michigan territory. Winding up. This kid can skate, and he can skate by it. Dylan Larkin, first rounder of the Red Wings, and that pass just wouldn't cooperate for Werenski.
What's great about Dylan Larkin, not only do his feet move, but his head and his hands move the exact same speed when he's got that puck.
Another fast one the other way. Sam Warning right in front. Oh, Racine! Are you kidding me? A game-changing save.
These are the ones that can change the momentum of a game. Again, 2-on-1. Warning reads it perfectly. Little saucer pass. Right to Boyd's stick. And again, the anticipation of Racine. Excellent.
Clinical lateral movement there by Steve Racine as that one's laid on a platter for the Gophers. Travis Boyd leads them in power play goals, has a bullet and a goal tonight to boot, but Steve Racine's had enough at number 22.
Hoping to get his chances. The intense, focused eyes of Steve Racine. Dexter Danks trying to add to the lead. Danks stops for a look. Nieves swings it through the crease.
How about the range of Nieves right there, going to his backhand, trying to exploit Adam Wilcox with a little lateral pass.
That big frame that he has. Again, he's a young kid coming in right out of prep school, and he's just starting to, I think, figure out his size and how he can utilize it in this game.
Calderon in Michigan, rummaging along the boards. Brady Shea will push it up. Head up for Justin Cluse across center, and then he's free to drive it in. Lynch awaiting at center. Couldn't soften the pass. Swatted away by A.J. Michelson. Isaacson on the perimeter. Staved off by Travis Lynch. Cutler Martin trying to contain Glover. They kick it back to the point and just fumbled by Marshall. Minnesota will have to go back. As Marshall almost spinning out of control, but he's a pretty good skater, and he'll snap it in.
We've got a fourth line versus fourth line grind fest right here down low.
Voice of Ben Clymer, Robbie Andringa, Fred Pletch. I'm Dan Kelly with our BTN crew. Glad you could join us for the championship game. And Hudson Fasching bowls over the goal and pushes it off its mooring. BTN goes where you want, when you want it, with BTN to Go, presented by Auto Owners Insurance. Watch live hockey on your computer, tablet, or smartphone. BTN to Go is now available to all major subscribers who receive BTN through their cable, satellite, or participating video providers. To learn more, visit btntogo.com. Also available in the App Store and on Google Play.
One of the things that you can see right now, the officials have a conference. Red Berenson called McKinchak over to talk about just right where the faceoff should be because of that net being dislodged.
Hudson Fasching running over Cutler Martin in the process in pursuit of that puck, but the faceoff will remain.
Riley's shot doesn't get through. Pop breaks his stick there during the clash, and he's just looking to hit anyone that is around. No icing as Riley back to grab it. Lohan gets caught. Rao, Hudson Fasching. Rao, beautiful goal, and Minnesota answers back.
You had a great answer from Minnesota. Playing on your heels a little bit, but transition hockey goes both ways. This is Minnesota getting the patience of Mike Riley to get that puck up north quick. And then Rao to pick up the pieces in the neutral zone. And then, boy, he's ready to go. Fasching, I like the quick pass to Fasching. That, to me, sets everything up.
Well, in what even begins this play is Leon Bristed taking one for the team, gets run over from behind, and then skill, well, that would shine with Hudson Fasching and Kyle Rao playing a little game of catch back and forth through the offensive zone.
As a defenseman, I always thought it was difficult trying to play a 2-on-1 when that outside guy got the puck to the middle quickly, because they were always taught, keep the puck on the outside, let the goalie handle the shooter. Rao did it perfectly, got it quickly to Hudson Fasching, and boom, then the play started to develop.
And when that defenseman spins, it's so easy to exploit those options in and around his skates where he can't get a stick, and that's exactly what Hudson Fasching took advantage of, getting that puck back to Kyle Rao, and Racine bounding one way, unable to return back to the previous side.
Haven't you been waiting for a little more of that skill set, that wonderful pass from Hudson Fasching to set up Rao?
Well, we know Hudson Fasching has a big frame. He's going to be a power forward in the NHL, and you can't maybe lose sight of the fact that this guy has a very, very sensitive set of hands. He can move that puck back and forth and stick handle with the best of them, but right there, easy to see what the Buffalo Sabres like about him picking him up from the LA Kings.
Robbie Andringa, this is about more than we expected. These quick strike goals and pretty goals too.
Well, this is, again, two teams that know how to strike quick, and again, I don't think worry about scoring goals. They know how to score goals, so if they give up one, again, I don't think it really blows their confidence. They know they can quickly get back into this game.
Tied at 2, under 9 minutes to go in the second period, playing for a Big Ten tournament title. Sam Warning turns and fires it in. Now picking up the scraps, Warning. Held out by Downing, and a missed pass by Boyd. Wilcox sensing the heat, so he'll help out Brodzinski. Downing chopping it away. Dexter Danks quiets down that dangerous puck. Icing the call.
Get a good look there at Ben Marshall. Again, a defense that doesn't get a lot of play in terms of maybe people talking about it, but again, a good skater as you look at the goal by Rao and with Fasching there on the back end. Again, that's the one thing I do like. Minnesota's got defensemen that can jump up at the plate. Ben Marshall's one of those guys.
Guy Gadowski talked about his feeling of just insecurity when he plays the Minnesota Gophers because they score and come in layers so difficult. If your back checker over pursues the puck, will they find space high? If they're lazy, get out of their zone, well, the likes of Mike Riley beat them up the ice and exploit it that way.
Luce gains the line, draws the penalty on Andrew Sinelli. Brodzinski, the blast. Power plays have proved to be very fruitful tonight for both teams, and the best power play in the land will go to work when we come back.
Gymnastics is focused on practice, repetition, and instinct. You are taught not to think. But before every event, I reflect on the one person who suggested this sport, my role model, my mom. She passed away the week before I joined freshman, but she is still here with me, watching every week. So I work hard every day to be the man she expects me to be.
Mike, you wanted to limit the turnovers in this game and make them play a 200-foot game. Have you done that so far?
Yeah, I like the way we're playing. I mean, both teams are good teams, obviously, Fred. I mean, it's a tense game. You know, we had 3 power play goals in the first 3 goals, and, you know, we got the even strength goal to get it back even. But these are 2 hockey teams that are playing real hard tonight.
Okay, thanks.
You bet.
Playing hard and finding the goal.
Minnesota goes back on the power play. Why? Well, this play right here, Andrew Sinelli gets the stick in. He's a converted forward playing D. Again, he did not have his feet moving. That's one thing you got to do is you got to keep your speed backwards, just like you would going forwards. Keep that speed in line with that forward going around you.
Justin Kluse really exploiting the poor gap there by the converted defenseman and really put in an awkward situation where he has to choose mentally. I'm either going to take a penalty right here. There's likely going to be an odd man rush deep inside our zone.
So we'll see if Michigan's goaltender Steve Racine is rattled a little bit. Gophers with 3 shots on goal this period. 2 of them have been goals. Rao, a wrist shot, and that's off the stick of Lohan. I thought Rao might have utilized Travis Boyd there, who was on his flank. But feeling pretty good, Kyle Rouse, just recently scoring his 20th of the season. Fasching feeling the confidence after a nice assist. Kicks it loose for Rao. Riley slows things down a bit. Fasching misses it. Serval not very hard up the wall on the backhand. A minute to go. Rouse shedding defenders. Shoots it wide. That's the problem with shooting it wide from an angle. It leads to this. Confer. They're staved off by Riley. Confer, though, digs it loose, short-handed. Wilcox had to make a quality shoulder stop. Mott, dangerous short-handed, still buzzing. Lynch is in front. Stays with Mott. Looking like a Wolverine power play here. As Mott, he's been brilliant on the penalty kill all 3 games for Michigan. Lynch also joining the party. And a mere 15 seconds remain on the advantage for Minnesota. Swung in by Fasci. Up and out by Lynch.
A great energetic kill by Michigan. And again, feeding off the fans a little bit as they're getting into the game. But again, very aggressive Michigan all the way across the board inside their zone. I think that's what they're trying to do, be physical and get in people's faces when Minnesota's on the power play.
Dug out by Werenski and clear. And it will be an icing as the power play has expired.
And of that power play, Michigan really doing a much better job of creating an opportunity. JT Confer using his speed, but also using some vision right there. Mike Riley has to commit to the player in the middle, and Michael Downing, a player you think about being a physical defensive defenseman. A goal last night, 5 shots on goal. Heddily jumping up, providing an offensive spark right there for the Wolverines.
Marshall on for Isaacson. Shovels it towards Racine's goal. Zach Hyman, the dump in. And is that going to be an interference penalty on Sam Warning for holding up the forechecker?
Yeah, that is. And you get about a second, maybe a second and a half, 2 if you're good at it, to try to just maybe get an arm on a guy. But this was clearly it's like old school hockey. That's what we would have done back in 20. Let's take a peek. It was, again, as you dump the puck in, you got to let this guy go. Maybe get a quick arm on him, but then you got to let him go. You cannot take him to the boards.
Well, and Don Lucia talked about Sam Warning using his feet. That's an example of something Don would likely want him to turn, take a step or 2, and then just try to veer that player into the corner versus make physical contact right off the initial dump.
Deadlocked at 2, 5 to go in period number 2. Michigan beginning this power play with Sam Warning in the box. Kyle to Mott. Motzi is caught now. The shot just off the body and wide. Mott utilized on the penalty kill and power play here for Michigan. Mike Downing. He can gun it from distance. Downing. Swung in front by Kopp blindly, but no one there.
Not what you want to do on a power play. You just don't throw the puck, especially on your backhand. Get your head around. Try to feel pressure.
Sauntering over the line, Andrew Kopp. Pass back to the point. Problem is no one was there.
And similar to Minnesota, Michigan starting with their second unit. Now the likes of Hyman, Larkin joining the attack. See if their ace of spades can get it done.
Just over a minute to go in the power play. Hyman pushed down by Jake Bischoff. Nieves pries it off the boards. Dylan Larkin, so composed. Bad pass, and it allows Rao to tip it by Werenski.
Like the aggressive style, again, that both penalty kills in Minnesota. Again, those forwards, one of the things that they're good at is they know that if they can get a rush, maybe bounce a puck past the defenseman, they're gone. They can get a shorty.
Minnesota not happy with their penalty killing effort last night against Ohio State. Much better tonight, a little bit more aggressive, reading that puck better, but I think also having a higher compete level with their sticks, clearing that puck on first opportunity.
Launched out by Brodzinski. Only 18 seconds left in this power play.
The other thing too, short shifts. They're rotating those forwards through maybe 20, 25 seconds short. Once you ice it, the forwards are quickly off.
Darting down the near side, Sinelli, big rebound by Wilcox. But that's what defensemen are for. Brodzinski was there to move the danger away. Power play has expired for Michigan. It's just tossed over the glass in the far corner under 3 minutes remaining in the second period. All of a sudden, a barrage of goals. Pretty stuff from Kyle. Then it was Rao. And the brass is in the building. Kenny Holland, Executive Vice President and General Manager of a longtime dynasty here in Detroit.
Pen in hand as well, taking notes.
'25 combined NHL draft choices roaming the ice. Sure, several scouts watching in person and watching on the Big Ten Network around North America and the world, or BTN to go, as it's shot into the Wolverine bench. Be sure to stay tuned at Intermission for the Auto Owners Insurance Intermission Report with Rick Pizzo and Paul Caponegri.
Yeah, talking about scouts in the building, all eyes are on probably number 13 for sure of where he might go in that draft. We said a projected 10th pick or 10 and lower. And I've been really impressed with Zach Werenski and his skill set even at such a young age.
Ben, you think Werenski's skating ability has to improve though as he gets older?
I think it will improve when his strength improves. I think the technique certainly could use a bit of a polish, but with that strength, you'll see quite an improvement in itself.
Selman's shot, dealt wide. Collins away to Ambrose. A lot of support back for Michigan, so the wise decision to dump it in. Ambrose rather belligerent there on the forecheck. Collins will hold it in. Stretching is Ambrose. He's had a good shift. Warning misses it in front. Ready to go the other way. 3-on-2 if they hurry. Hyman waits, fires, and tucked to the corner by Wilcox. It's blocked at the Minnesota defense. Serval will send it right back in. Mott fights for it. Wilcox protecting the post. Boyd up the boards and at least out to center. On the attack, Dexter Danks, guided wide by Adam Wilcox. Minnesota out to center, but a lot of possession here for Michigan in the recent minutes. Is Mott in there searching for it. Brady Shea has to make the quick decision. Gobbled up by Michigan again, ripped in by Cutler Martin. Under a minute to go here in the second period. Softly, the dump from Danks. Collins and Brady Shea, Kopp at long reach. Jars it loose on the forecheck. 38 seconds to go in the period. Confer swings it in front, but Justin Kloos was protecting the slot area.
Smart play by Sam Warren. He knew he was going to run out of real estate, so he gently put that puck on the wall, let it trickle in instead of jamming it home where it would have been an icing.
Kyle, 18 seconds. The wrist shot up high. Again, Wilcox, the answer. Been a close game all night. We're due for overtime in this tournament. Skidding out is Larkin. 40 minutes complete. We've got ourselves a battle here in the championship game. Back and forth we go. Who wants the trophy? The score, 2-2 after 40 minutes. Let's get you over to the Auto Owners Insurance Intermission Report with Rick Pizzo and Paul Caponegri. Guys?
And the score at the end of the second period, the University of
Zach, we're going to do it on the bench because they want me to get in.
Don't kid with COVID. mHealth Fairview wants you to know that what you do today will affect your family and our community tomorrow. Good hand washing protects you and can slow the spread of the virus. Use soap and warm water. Be sure to wash both sides between your fingers, fingernails, thumbs, and wrists. Scrub for at least 20 seconds. Wash early and often. Wash your hands. Avoid big groups. Stay home. Don't go out. We've all got to do our part. Don't kid with COVID. mHealth Fairview wants you to know that what you do today will affect your family and our community tomorrow. Social distancing helps you avoid contact with those who may be infected with the virus. What can you do? Steer clear of crowds of 10 or more people. Keep a distance of 6 feet between you and others in public spaces. And if possible, work from home. Wash your hands. Avoid big groups. Stay home. Don't go out. We've all got to do our part.
Stats after 2 periods of play. You might be wise to avoid giving the opposition a power play. 2 PP goals for Michigan, 1 for Minnesota. And the shots, a lot coming towards Steve Racine, but he's passed the test so far. We're deadlocked at 2 after 40 minutes. Zach Hyman, a couple of points. Dylan Larkin has had some success. So look at our State Farm state of success, and these two have been combining for a lot of good things. Hyman, Larkin taping things up, ready for this 3rd period. Both teams begin the final period of regulation at full strength. Mike Downing. Kopp misses the outlet pass. There's Jake Bischoff will take over for Minnesota. And accidentally flicked right into the Wolverine bench for an early whistle.
Both teams need to be cognizant of those neutral zone turnovers. That puck right there being chipped against the wall, trying to get that puck deep. Turnovers are what could cost one team or the other with such a tight checking game.
What do you think the message was from the Don Lucia to his team at intermission?
Well, the message consistently with Don seems to be about playing within themselves, playing their game, not necessarily being concerned with the opposition, but I would be concerned with a few of the breakdowns that Zach Hyman's been able to capitalize on. Certainly need to limit number 11's ice.
Kopp, nice moves. Backhand shot, not much behind it. Now Confer! Ambrose was in the way. There's a good early chance for JT Confer. Brady Shea, rink wide. Boyd tries to go back to Shea. Instead, it's Collins swooping in. High shot wide of the target.
One thing Minnesota's excellent as in the zone offensively. They go cross ice better than any team that I see. Finding open guys, hopefully getting a one-timer or maybe even a quick shot to the net with a rebound. Just excellent at going across those neutral zones. I'm sorry, inside the slot area.
Zach Werenski, puck rolling on him in behind the goal, but makes the smooth breakout. Hyman is a little behind him that pass. It allows Vinny Lettieri to tap it loose. Circling Justin Klus. There to pick off his pass, Werenski, but Brodzinski offside. Justin Klus just a hair ahead of that blue line. As Dylan Larkin, his health is very important to the success here of Michigan.
Gets caught up awkwardly there with his left skate. Sam Warning is going to go off gingerly.
That's one guy you don't want to see. Didn't look like much. There was a little contact there, but nothing much that would have been a penalty of sorts. But again, you don't want 19 hurt if you're Michigan. He's so dynamic with that puck. Also his speed.
Ken Holland probably doesn't like watching that either here live inside Joe Louis Arena. Championship Saturday. Both teams fighting for a Big Ten title. Mott, a shot. Hoppy now as Marshall as he took that off the leg. Booney Evis in front, but protecting the middle of the ice was Ben Marshall. Camerata the chip, and now the chase. Mott there to help out Downing. Camerata will hold in for Minnesota. Quick decision by Downing. And Mott almost safely off the glass, but another keep in by the Gophers.
This is where I thought Minnesota was excellent in the first period, is keeping control of that puck in the offensive zone, but forechecking aggressively 1-2 guys and creating turnovers and transitioning Michigan.
Kopp steals. Watch out ahead to Kyle, and alone shoots wide. Oh, Kyle almost had his second of the evening.
No player in the building was more stressed on that one than Jake Bischoff, and often you need to rely upon your goaltender. Throughout the course of a championship, there's going to be breakdowns, and Adam Wilcox continuing to come out and force shooters to maybe make moves and put pucks in places that they wouldn't prefer.
Kyle again. This time he peels off for a better looking option. Lohan down low. Off the skate of the referee. Pops loose to Confer, but he loses it. Leon Verstedt breaking away for Minnesota. 3-on-3 over the line. The backhand shot, Racine sees it through a sea of legs in front of him.
Let's back things up and take a look at the turnover that the Wolverines were able to capitalize on. Created right there in the neutral zone, and down Broadway they go. Alex Kyle with a grade A opportunity and has an outstretched Adam Wilcox.
And what I liked about Wilcox was immediately, as soon as he saw Kyle get that puck on the blue line, he immediately went on the top part of that blue outside of it, got his momentum to come back, challenging Kyle. Really all Kyle had was upstairs and he couldn't get anything on it.
And he retracted in quick fashion. You could see there as that puck was released almost all the way back to the goal line.
Warning. Waits for the puck to calm down and then fires it. Waited too long. Sinelli the block. He's limping. Batted down by a high stick of Seth Ambrose. And good news, Dylan Larkin, a little test. Back on the bench for Michigan, and hopefully he can go again for the Wolverines.
Yeah, this Sinelli, he's gingerly walking off. Those hurt. Again, he turned his foot at the last minute right there. That's something you don't want to do. If you're going to block a shot, block it straight on. Get your toes pointed at the player. Don't ever turn your leg or your skate. That's a recipe for disaster.
Why so many of the players now you'll see wearing the protective cover on their skates to avoid some of that pain and possible injury. And I think maybe to his credit, just trying to get big to make sure he could block that one, knowing, well, a bruise and pain was going to ensue.
Bouncer, Marshall. Good job to get solid contact on that. Tyler Mott the other way for Michigan, the cross corner dump in. Nieva steals on the forecheck with his centering attempt. Camarado's there and it's kicked away by Ben Marshall. He and Vinny Lettieri poke it in deeper. Lettieri outnumbered by 3 Wolverines in that far corner as they emerge from the dust.
Love the referee getting involved here. Puck battle, I love that. Talk to these kids, let them know what's up.
They've been communicating all tournament, all game as Andrew Kopp pushes it in. Danks is dumped behind the goal. In the meantime, Minnesota will bank it off the boards to center. Fashy. Down low. Just couldn't make the connection around. Another shot coming. Racine drops it off, and it's Kopp away. Alex Kyle feeling some confidence after a goal, and he's had some other good looks at the target. And it's Verstedt sending him flying with a little hip there. Shoved in by JT Confer. Mismanaged pucks in the neutral zone have led to breakaways tonight. Both teams trying to be careful. Werenski the long wrist shot, and it's snared by Adam Wilcox. We'll come back. Nothing's settled yet in the championship game.
The bacon there for his goaltender, Racine. A great play, understanding that the player that you're going to have to cover isn't always in front of you. You have to communicate with the defenseman, and communication evident in that play right there.
Some of the best players understand that 95% of the game is away from the puck, so if you can understand where to be in certain spots, boy, you're going to play a lot as well as keep moving up the ranks.
Well, that by definition is hockey IQ, and on display right there with Michigan.
Brady Shea, the smooth entry. He loves to circle and explore options. Uses the forward Sam Warning at the point. Warning sends it wide. Zach Werenski feeling the heat of the forecheck of Sam Warning and Seth Ambrose. Downing. Rough there on Ambrose, knocking him down. They keep the puck moving. Michigan out of trouble. Dylan Larkin, the dump in. Good change of course of action there by Adam Wilcox. Boyd clearly before his own side of center, so an easy whistle for an icing. Well, the march to Indianapolis is on, and BTN covers it all. Games, previews, interviews, and complete post-game analysis of each matchup. Big Ten basketball and beyond tonight, 11:30 Eastern, only on BTN. What a wonderful time of the year on the hardwood, here on the ice inside Joe Louis Arena, Detroit, Michigan. Cutler Martin, the slap shot hits a body in front. Winner wins the Big Ten tournament. Second ever edition. And they get an automatic bid into the NCAA tournament. Michigan loses, their season ends. A little warmer today here in the Michigan area. The puck seems to be rolling more than the 2 previous days. Michael Brodzinski in Minnesota at center. Vinny Lettieri with speed to Klus. Klus couldn't get the shot away. Tony Calderon for Michigan will go off for 2 minutes.
I think it's either going to be a hooking or a holding call. Again, I like the toe drag. That's what set that whole play up. Klus on his forehand side. The toe drag right there gets Downing to go down.
And if he's able to release that puck, you can see traffic moving laterally in front of Racine, maybe able to exploit low to the far side as a right-hander.
Giant power play. Riley's first strike off a stick and out of play.
That's one thing I wanted to see Minnesota do. They got a lot of shots on, but Racine with his glove. Get him to move. Way to do that is start to toe drag that puck into your body, force that goaltender slide left or right, and maybe open up some pieces to shoot at.
Well, then he has to go down. And if he can shoot that puck for a rebound, often more effective than passing at times because it will lay there dead right on the doorstep.
Yeah, get Racine to move laterally. It was the key last period. It's why Minnesota had an empty net on the power play. Riley fought off by Racine. 12 minutes to go in the period. Just over 90 seconds left in the 5-on-4 power play for Minnesota. Camerata to Riley. Boyd, Riley, right back to Travis Boyd, creeping in through the seam to Rao. Camerata's eliminated, and that gives time and room to Confer.
Just good physical play by Michigan. Once they realized the puck's on the kick plate, very aggressive and a play in the body. Then poor puck retrieval for Minnesota.
The Wolverines also overplaying the right-handed one-time opportunity that Travis Boyd has available on the high side of your television screen. The forward, JT Confer on the last kill, fronting him. The backside is where the defenseman had to rotate out.
40 seconds to go in this power play for Minnesota. This is the power play that can win them the game. Brodzinski changing direction several times. Low hand up, not out. Shea's got room. Brodzinski. They spread it around. Chip to Brodzinski. Bristette, Ambrose wasn't positioned to get the shot away. Down to Klus. Dangerous bouncing puck, and they hold it in. Brodzinski does. Klus, walks, fires, scores! Justin Klus!
Justin Klus quiets this crowd down with a big power play goal. Great poise coming back in the zone. Gophers able to hold the zone. Again, using hockey IQ, finding the open guy. That's critical part about this. You save the zone, you get it down low, and you see that wide area wide open. That's Justin Klus.
Justin Klus isolating that defender in the slot, trying to do all he can for his goaltender, but patience is king right here, and you'll see Seth Ambrose right on the doorstep as we keyed, making it difficult for Racine to come out there, and Justin Klus has him on the goal line and exploits the inability to react laterally.
Great look there on that slow-mo camera of Justin Klus. He was off balance as he went to finish that strike.
That's the one thing I've liked. I mean, when you've got an aggressive goaltender like Racine, when he's coming out, you have to fake those shots. And if you got the time and space to do it, that's the other part of it. but Klu's doing a great job of faking that shot, getting the defender to go down, as well as Racine already down. Very difficult for him to re-engage.
So we'll see if we see the urgent response necessary for Michigan. Winding up. The talented one, Dylan Larkin, going for a little skate. Throws it towards the goal, but Collins there in the block. Boyd up, not out. Cutler, Martin holds in. Martin, the drive. Sprawling back, Adam Wilcox. The save, not out of the woods yet. Another drive coming from Morensky. Wilcox, you need big stops at key moments. Adam Wilcox. Looks like the wall is back between the pipes for Minnesota just at the right time. A lot of Gophers have spent time at the U and then gone on to the National Hockey League. Phil the Thrill Kessel, Kyle Oposo, the New York Islanders, and the man with speed, Blake Wheeler, the Winnipeg Jet, next level players.
This team no different than many in the past. Don Lucia has Brady Shea, Mike Riley, future Blue Liners without question. Hudson Fasching going to be a big power forward. And out of this year's freshman class, Ryan Collins has impressed me beyond what most freshmen would be able to with his simplicity, with which he passes the puck. So often you see freshmen try to do too much at 6'5". You just have to remain patient.
His mobility, excellent for a big guy.
I asked Mike Leary to show a picture, our producer for BTN, to show a picture of Ben Clymer, but he refused to show a black and white photo. Here's Burstead in front. Things getting a little dicey, and Racine has lost his stick. He's able to get it back. Fasching missing Bischoff with a pass, and Minnesota will have to retreat. Kyle Rao launching the attack, and that's a quality pad save there from Racine.
You get him going one way, then shoot back where he came from. Big pillow down the ice, so to stop that.
Justin Klus out to center, Camerata unable to put it in deep. And those are the things you need to do to protect a lead. Letary jams it off the wall. Camerata trying to catch Racine, and there was some room there, but Racine recovers. Well, we just saw Blake Wheeler, the Winnipeg Jet, the former Gopher. Fred Pletch has more on Mr. Wheeler.
Well, we don't have to tell Gopher fans this. Minnesota looking for its first playoff title since 2007, and they got it when Blake Wheeler scored in overtime to beat North Dakota 3-2, guys.
Timing is everything. They've got the clutch goal. Maybe they've got enough, but looking to ice this game. Long shot by Letary, directed away by Steve Racine. Goaltending certainly has not been the issue this tournament for Michigan. It's a difficult thing to do, though, to win 3 games in 3 days. Perhaps fatigue starting to take over a little bit. Letary hits Camerata on the fly, stalls a little bit, rolls it in, and goes to the bench for a line change. Dylan Larkin gaining speed and momentum over the line. Larkin, bad angle. Wilcox, calm and cool, has it wrapped up.
The authoritative nature with which Dylan Larkin skates and tries to push his teammates is what impresses me most for a freshman. You often don't see that from juniors and seniors at 18 years old. This kid flat out gets it.
Heads up!
Tipped in by Boyd. Boyd tries to spot Sam Warning, but the intervention from Mike Downing in Michigan. Zach Hyman careening his way over the line. Shea puts him to a safe area. Lohan, the hold in. Michigan looking for the equalizer here in the final 8 minutes of regulation to keep their season alive. Kyle caught between two minds, and it's Fashy the steal, the dump in. Ready for takeoff. Cox to Gopher. Too much congestion around him.
And the normally aggressive Minnesota Gophers really trying to clog up that neutral zone. 4 players maintaining that space.
It's working, but they break through the pressure finally. Chipped in by Kyle. Second try, Minnesota will clear. Not much going forward here for Michigan. The steal, Justin Kluse already won tonight. Not much support. Sniffing around is Camerata. Excellent work by Camerata to keep the drive alive. Jammed down low by Lettieri.
If you're Minnesota, this is where you want to push that puck all the way into the zone. Make Michigan go 200 feet if they're going to beat you.
Downing showing the delicate touch. Serval will pitch it in. Looking for a larger presence on the forecheck here for Michigan. Down by 1. Mott's drive is blocked by Brodzinski. Away goes Travis Boyd. Oh, Downing the big hit. Still the try coming in. Warning. It's Racine the save. Mott the other way. Mott tries to lift it over Adam Wilcox. He was ready for that. We've seen some gorgeous goals and now some bone-rattling collisions.
Oh, we've talked about Downing. Again, he relishes these types of roles, and Boyd had his head down just enough. You're going to see 5 start to slide over. He reads it perfectly. As soon as that pass is made, boom! Throws that hip and shoulder right into Travis Boyd.
Well, a wonderful hit right there, but he takes a play, or takes a hit to make a play, turns into a 2-on-1 opportunity. Downing needs to back in there. They have to create that turnover. They can't create an odd man opportunity that Boyd certainly had to pay for.
Give Boyd credit. Again, reading the play, taking the hit.
Wilcox grabs the wrist shot coming off the stick of Selman. The goals, they've been some pretty ones tonight, gentlemen.
Well, and it started with the player who just got freight trained on the back door, Travis Boyd, with this 8th power play goal of the year.
Then the Hobie finalist, Zach Hyman, power play goal for the Michigan Wolverines.
And Alex Kyle would, well, he'd emerge in the back door and get the Wolverines back.
And Kyle Rao, good 2-on-1. Hudson Fashion over to Rao. I can even put that one in.
Justin Kluse showing patience and a bit of resiliency right there. He goes to his right, gets the Gophers a lead.
They hope to maintain it. And stay tuned right after the game for highlights, interviews, and the awards presentation of tonight's championship game on the Big Ten Hockey post-game show. Power play goals have proved to be big tonight.
Ben, you watch Minnesota a lot more. Again, this is something, are they used to being able to go under 5 minutes and play kind of that 1-2-2 trap in the neutral zone?
I would say it's outside of their general structure that they play within, and Don Lucia and Mike Ansel probably have to pull some of those players back that are aggressive by nature. And that's part of the reason they're successful offensively, but right now understanding it's more about Adam Wilcox and protecting his area than anyone else.
You're going to shorten lines up too? I mean, you're not going to go 4, of course, but do you go 3 under 5 minutes?
Well, I think he'll certainly limit it to 3, but I want to see what happens on the back end as well. The third pair caught out, scoring chance went against them. Do they go with just 4 defensemen?
Larkin spins it by everybody. Werenski in for a closer look, blocked. Sam Horning the other way, tired at the end of a shift, so we'll tuck it in. Larkin to Hyman. They give Hyman the room at the point. Zach Hyman, active goal stick by Adam Wilcox. Michigan can't find a goal. Their season is over. Serval fights through some checks. Angles it back to Selman on the point. Kloos the defensive work there. Kicks it loose for Bischoff, but very hungry here on the hunt. The drive coming. Wilcox the stop, and no rebound allowed with Hyman perched on his doorstep.
Finding the open guy. That's Kyle. He's been dangerous in that slot area. Bodies in front. That's Hyman. Again, not able to take away the eyes. Just too far over to his right. That allows Wilcox to see that puck, and that's an easy one to save, even with traffic in front.
And surprising that Hyman's able to find a little space there all by himself. While there was two defenders near him, neither player had his stick.
Fasching looking for that, but just out of play here with a hair over 3 minutes to go in regulation. Leon Brustet, we saw flash the hip check earlier in this game.
Really took a hit to make that Kyle Rao play go. Took a hit, chipped it to Kyle Rao, who then distributed to Hudson Fasching. And Hudson Fasching just sparkled with that pass to the back door.
Robbie, what's Michigan need to do to tie this?
Again, you're going to have to engage your defensemen, especially on the blue line in the offensive zone. Minnesota's going to be tight defensively. They're going to play it man-on-man. That's why you got to find maybe one of those guys at Downing or Werenski, get them in tight, slide them down, and just go hard to the net.
Will Red be aggressive in pulling the goaltender?
And the third pair of Gopher defensemen out here against the top line for the Wolverines.
Under 3 to go.
Get out, get out!
Downing meandering over center with Kyle. They get a little crossed up. And Fasching the steal. The soft dump in. Gives Warning time to get in there first for Boyd. This is what Minnesota can do so well with the lead. Just hang out in the offensive zone. Collins the wrist shot.
This is vital for Minnesota. Waste some time, tire these players out.
You can't even think about pulling your goalie with the possession here from the Gophers. Hammered in by Collins. Offside with just over 2 minutes to go in the third period. Big Ten tournament trophy coming out of the case. Who's gonna lift it? Who's gonna celebrate this special evening? Minnesota hoping to hang on to this lead and experience the glory and get the automatic bid into the NCAA tournament and end Michigan's season. There was so much adversity, so much criticism of Minnesota in January. Well, now it's March, and the team from the Mecca of college hockey looking pretty good. Pushed in by Camerata.
What you kind of forget about is Minnesota, a lot of these players played in that national championship game. That's got to bode well in a time situation like this where you're up by a goal, under 2 minutes to play. Even though they lost the game, they played in pressure-packed situations.
90 seconds to go in regulation in maybe Michigan's season.
That's a mistake by Steve Racino. That would have been icy, but he went around the net to play it. That negates icing.
Werenski tipped in, so there's no icing. There goes Racine to the bench for the extra skater. The Michigan net is empty. Long shot by Brustet. Offside, Fasching into the boards hard as he was fighting for that puck to try to put the game away. And Hudson Fasching remaining down.
That was a big bounce by Fasching into the boards. That's a big boy. Gonna try to skate that off. And you're just flipping it up in the air. Look like they're trying to make a receiver catch over the shoulder. That's where Fasching goes into the boards. Again, that's not a tripping call, just happened to be the case off the Downing stick.
Timeout has been called.
That one's gonna feel tomorrow, that knee. As you said, that's his right knee.
Almost expecting to see a dent in the boards right there. Big Hudson Fasching arrives with a crash and a bang.
Well, stay tuned right after the game for highlights, interviews, and the awards presentation of tonight's championship game, the Big Ten Hockey post-game show. The place to go to recap this wonderful week of college hockey. The brand is Big Ten. The skill level has been off the charts tonight between these two.
Kind of how I expected. I didn't think it was going to be a blowout either way.
And a thing to pay attention here, the Gophers have 3 forwards, 3 centermen over 55%. Kyle Rao 57, Travis Boyd 57, and their leader Justin Cruz 58%. Obviously going to have more than one of those players on the ice for this very important draw.
Rao for Minnesota, Kopp for Michigan, at least for now. Kopp, the Wolverines pull it back. Giant face-off win, trying to tie this game and preserve their season. Caught for DeMott. Under a minute to go. Michigan's net is empty. Werenski just keeps that puck in the zone. But the second try flicked out by Minnesota. 52 seconds to go. Michigan's goal is empty. Extra attacker on. Riley trying to two-hand it up the boards. Conference centering attempt taken by Boyd towards the empty net. Goodbye, Michigan.
That kind of puts a bow on it for the Minnesota Golden Gophers.
So now just under 22 seconds to go, maybe in Michigan's season. Little smile there from Adam Wilcox and the Golden Gophers.
Very impressed though by Minnesota the last 5 minutes. They get that lead and they played like a team that was gritty and again, wanting to win, not just playing to win, wanting to win.
And playing a little bit outside what would be their norm, an aggressive nature, doing a nice job clogging up the neutral zone. And when Michigan had their chances, making sure they had numbers in the slot area in front of Adam Wilcox, those numbers created turnovers and blocked shots.
Net is still empty. 15 seconds to go. So many questions about the Gophers, but a golden performance this week in Detroit. Minnesota, meet your Big Ten tournament winners, the Golden Gophers. A season that wasn't always easy. The preseason pick is the #1 team in the nation, Minnesota. Starting to live up to their billing now at the right time.
Well, season's going to have ebb and flow, and certainly the Gophers season had that, but peaking at the right time, and that player, Adam Wilcox, everyone thought would be a big part, and at times, well, he had to grow. He had to deal with that adverse reaction to some of his play, and right now, certainly basking in the sun of what has been a terrific last month of hockey.
He was brilliant yesterday, and similar results tonight.
Well, for a goaltender who came in with so much hype into the season, the naysayers certainly got to Adam Wilcox at times, but right now, certainly getting the last laugh. His first save's impressive, but his second save's absolutely a thing of beauty, and the reason that the Minnesota Gophers are victorious.
Fred is standing by with the winning head coach, Don Lucia.
Well, Don, first playoff championship for the Gophers since 2007. How does this feel as we're with Don Lucia, first playoff title since 2007? How's this feel?
Well, I'm really proud of our guys, but you know what? That was a heck of a hockey game. Michigan's an outstanding team. We knew that great players on the ice for both sides, and it was going to come down to the end. Fortunately, we made a play to win it, but we feel very fortunate to come in here and win at the Joe.
As the Michigan Wolverines exit the ice, let's congratulate the Michigan Wolverines on a fantastic season. You knew it wouldn't be easy on them playing 3 in 3 nights, but your team played 2 very good games.
Well, we played a lot better tonight than what we did last night. We seemed to be a little bit more relaxed going into the game, and you know, we knew this was their third game in 3 days. We wanted to get pucks in deep, and I thought we did a good job of that for most of the game and played on the defensive side of pucks, and we made a mistake. Adam was there most of the time to clean it up.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And let's go to Dan Kelly, Ben Clymer, and Rob Andringa.
Robbie, you've won a national championship at the collegiate level. Now Minnesota, despite their midseason struggles, they enter the national tournament in the midst of a 4-game win streak. Is that important, or is it overrated?
It's not overrated. It's important. And again, I think winning the Big Ten regular season and playoff championship, that is very important because it's all about winning trophies. Now you're used to it.
Kyle Rao is with Fred Pletch down at the ice.
With the captain of the Gophers, and Kyle Rao, how does this feel?
It feels great. Really proud of the guys. We came out, played great, and it was a really good team effort. Adam Wilcox played great this weekend. We played hard in front of him.
It's been a group of seniors that's accomplished pretty much everything. 4 straight regular season titles, 2 trips to the Frozen Four, now a playoff title on the resume too.
Yeah, it feels great. We've been on some great teams 4 years over here, and we're really excited about this group here.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Let's send it back upstairs.
Wow. How about that kid named Kyle Rao putting on the championship hat? He had a championship performance.
And Kyle Rao, a Gophers Gopher, doing what needs to be done, playing the center position after playing wing his first couple of seasons, committing to where there was a need for his team, and a need today was about scoring goals, and Kyle Rao certainly did that and got his group going.
Time for the post-game festivities. Fred Pletch will take over.
Well, let's start off by congratulating both Michigan and Minnesota for a simply fantastic Big Ten championship game. I'd now like to introduce the Associate Commissioner of the Big Ten, Jennifer Heppel, who will be making the awards presentations this evening. Let's start by announcing the all-tournament team. The goaltender from Minnesota, Adam Wilcox. On defense, also from the Golden Gophers, Mike Riley. A defenseman from the University of Michigan, Michael Downing. And at forward, also from the University of Michigan, Zach Hyman. The second forward position from the Golden Gophers, Travis Boyd. And the third forward on the all-tournament team, the Gophers captain, Kyle Rao. Now let's call up the most outstanding player from the 2015 Big Ten Hockey Championship from Minnesota, number 32, Adam Wilcox. Adam, Big Ten champions, how does this feel?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I think I like it. I like it.
Now, shutout performance last night, and you got some timely goals. You face the number one power play unit in the nation every day in practice. Michigan saw tonight strike 3 times.
Yeah, I think our scout penalty kill does a good job at making them good, but they came through tonight. I thought our team did a good job on the 5-on-5 aspect of the game too, but we came out to play, and I think it was one of our best games of the year, and we deserve this win.
Well, a lot of players had decisions to come back and play another year, you included. I guess everyone made the right decision, huh?
Yeah, definitely. I love the group of guys. Once we heard everyone was coming back, we knew it was going to be a fun year, and we got 2 championships this year, and even more important, we got a great group of guys, so it's been fun.
Well, you'll keep playing. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Most outstanding player for the 2015 Big Ten Hockey Championship, Adam Wilcox. We would now like to call up the captains from the University of Minnesota to accept the Big Ten Men's Ice Hockey Tournament Trophy. Come on, boys. Kyle Rao, Seth Ambrose, and Ben Marshall, the letterman for the Minnesota Golden Gophers, once again winning the Gophers' first playoff championship since 2007.
Hey!
What's that feeling like, gentlemen?
Well, I'd like to think that I would know, but unfortunately I don't. I can't say I had a different shiny trophy in my hands, but for a group that had expectations that were possibly unrealistic to deal with the adversity and to come back, I would imagine has a little bit of an extra sparkle, given that now they not only have 2 championships, but a postseason berth.
I know the regular season one means a lot to these players and these coaches, but I have to think that this one means even that much more, because it basically solidifies that this is the club that we thought they were going to be. A team that played, a lot of these guys played the national championship game last year against Union, losing. They come back. This is a very good hockey team when number 32 is on his game.
Well, and it all revolved around Adam Wilcox. He was the player that the other players were waiting to see if he would come back. The others would likely follow. If he left, the dominoes would fall accordingly, and Adam Wilcox, fittingly the MVP of this tournament and pointing this team towards a national championship.
On the other side, Robbie, Michigan, they've now missed the national tournament 3 consecutive years, and they missed the tournament this year despite having the highest scoring offense in the nation. That's rather shocking.
Well, a lot of it has to do with just the poor performance by the Big Ten League in general, non-conference-wise. We have a better non-conference schedule in terms of wins. It's just so much easier to have a team, because this league should have 2 teams in the NCAA tournament, no doubt in my humble opinion. But again, for Michigan, maybe this sets the tone for a lot of these guys that we know are good. A Larkin, who a lot of people suspect he might jump early. Guess what? He can make a statement just like some of these guys did for Minnesota.
Well, Dylan Larkin could actually take his pads off right down the hallway and drop them in the red room, because I can tell you what, he certainly has that level of skill set. And let's recap how the Gophers were able to get this done. Travis Boyd finding space in the back door, using those hands to chip one by Racine, and then a little thing of beauty right here. Hudson Fashing exposing the defense, and Kyle Rao finishing that one off. And then Justin Kloos would show patience that is absolutely beautiful. Falling down to his right and capping this one off for the Gophers.
It was a beautiful week of hockey. Gophers, time to celebrate back in Minnesota for Rob Andringa, Ben Clymer, and Fred Pletch. I'm Dan Kelly. Thanks for watching our coverage of the 2015 Big Ten Men's Hockey Tournament here in the Motor City. The proceeding has been an exclusive presentation of the Big Ten Network. The Minnesota Golden Gophers are your 2015 Big Ten Men's Hockey Tournament champions. Good night from the Motor City.
Thank you.